talk about our GKU 7-on-7 install and kind of the things going forward that we're going to do. My name is Coach Brophy, varsity offensive line coach, varsity offensive coordinator, coached in our youth league, flag football, 7-on-7 last year, as well as serving as our athletic director on our board of directors. Put this slideshow together to kind of help as a playbook tool for kids to reference back to, hopefully, and use at their own means. It's not going to have everything in it, but it's a good thing to kind of use as a starting point and jumping off point, and kind of to learn some basic terminology of what we're looking for when it comes to GK football. So as you can see, and this is all going to be geared towards somebody that's a first-time player in our program. It's not built on anything else that they might have already known. We are going to teach everything as if we are starting from day one. So whether they are a player who's played with us or not, we're all going to learn it the same way. I'm going to talk briefly about what our expectations are when it comes to quarterback and receivers. For 7-on-7, we're gonna include running backs and tight end types as part of that receiver terminology. When we get to practice and position specific, we might split up a little bit, but for today's purposes, everything is going to be geared towards quarterback, wide receivers learning the route scheme as far as terminology and words, and then kind of what that looks like. And again, we won't get into everything, but it's enough to kind of give us a head start for starting our practice next week. First thing, what we're looking for as far as development. This is the big thing, wanting to know what kids are hoping to get out of the season. You can see that first bullet, learn and understand the scheme, pass concepts and routes. So like I said, we are a number word concept offense, even numbers, odd numbers, and then knowing right and left, and then what the word attached to it would be. That second bullet, learn and understand defensive coverage. I'm not going to talk about defense today in our video, but that's going to be the same thing going forward. Those two kind of work hand in hand. You can see obviously showing growth. This is what we're looking for hopefully throughout the season, showing growth in the knowledge of the GK offense and defense. These same concepts that we're going through are the exact same things that are instilled in our youth teams, in our middle schools, Frontier and Liberty, as well as into our high school programs. We want to show growth in culture and attitude that represents GK football. Obviously that's going to include sportsmanship, coachability, the willingness to learn, be a good teammate, and representing what it means to be GK. Be coachable, that second to bottom bullet right there in capital letters. Coachable might mean playing a position that you haven't played before, something different than you've done in your tackle season, or if you've never played 7-on-7 before, or even tackle football. How to be coachable, how to learn, how to ask questions, how to react in the positive way. You might not always like the answer that you get as a young kid or as a young player, but how to react to that. And then our number one rule is what we're going to kind of pride ourselves on. And this is a quote we've adopted over the years. What you do when you don't have the football shows how much you care about your teammates. So just because a route might be called specifically for one player, if you don't give 100% effort on your route or your job, then that's going to show not only your teammates but your coaches that you're not caring about what we're trying to do and how we're trying to get better. So that's something we'll always come back to, is that number one rule on the bottom. What you do when you don't have the football shows how much you care about your teammates. Okay? And so this is getting into our terminology, our quick game, our 90-99. Those are the numbers that we'll use. 90 is an even number. That's going to refer to the right side. 99 is going to refer to the left side. That three-step drop, so that just means we are trying to throw the ball quick. In 7-on-7, you only get 4 seconds to throw the ball, and it goes really, really quick. You can see right here where it says a pre-snap read or an idea of where to go. That means pre-snap, when we call this play, as the coach and with the quarterback, we have a very strong idea of where we want them to throw the ball. And then that's based off down and distance, situation, and those are all things that we're going to work through as football players and as coaches in our program of how to pre-snap. So before you say hike, have a good idea of where you're going to the ball. This is not recess where everybody just runs around and gets open. We don't have enough time for that, and then we're not learning when we do that. These words that you can see over here on the left side that have bullets attached behind them, these are the quick game passing concepts. These can all work to the right and the left, 90 and 99. And they're all attached, what we like to use the terminology of outside in. So starting from the sideline and working in towards the ball. That's how those work. So that first one, for example, all of these will have a number 1 and a number 2 because we're just going to teach it. And there's a visual attached here soon of a route concept for 2 receivers. So in our first one, fog. So if I were to say as the play caller, and this is when they learn the formations, open right, 90 fog. 90 pertains to the right side, so pre-snap, our quarterback has a strong indication that he's going to work to the right side. Fog. Number 1 is that outside furthermost receiver. He's got a fade route. Number 2 has an out, and you can see that I put it in parentheses as a 5-yard out. So fog. Fog can be ran on both sides of the field. Okay, it can be a rollout. It can be a lot of different things. But in quick game, it's fog. 5-yard out or a fade. Sassy. That second one, you can see double S's. Means we're running slants. The number 1 on the outside has to get, it should be a 3-yard slant. I forgot the number 3 on there. Both of those are at 3-yard slant. So we stay at the same level, trying to keep that inside. It's not an in route. It's not squared. And we'll get to kind of what some of those terminology things learn. They'll learn it at practice. But again, all of these words that I'm going to go through are incorporated with 90 and 99. So the kids have to understand the number as well as the word. ISO. ISO is day 1 for everybody. It's a 5-yard in route. It's squared in, so it'd be straight down the line, 5 yards straight in. And number 2 has a seam route or an inside fade. So let's say it's a doubles formation. 2 receivers on the right, 2 receivers on the left, and the play call was 90 fog, and we didn't say anything to the other 2 receivers. They automatically have ISO. ISO is our fallback option. It's an in, which starts with an I, and a seam. So an in seam, that's just always going to be something that we can fall back on, so we're not telling every receiver what to do. Hack. Hack. 2 hitches. 5-yard hitches. Hack. 5 yards, turn, come back to the ball, show your chest to the ball on the quarterback. Give them a good target. Staff. A 3-yard slant and a 2-yard arrow route to the flat. So slant flat concept. All teams run this. It's on the game of Madden. Doesn't matter what it is, but a slant flat concept. Slant flat concept. Excuse me. A 3-yard slant. Quarterback has the choice of if he can throw that slant or the 2-yard arrow route to the sideline. And then cuff. This is an easy one for kids to throw. It's a 5-yard hitch route with a flat route. So he kind of just picks which one he sees. All of these are going to be plays that we have to read in progression and teach our quarterbacks how to do, especially our young quarterbacks. But it's something that we feel as an offensive staff at GK High School and in our program, things that we can get to and teach from a really young age. You can see these last couple bullets here. You can roll out with a quarterback. We'll get to that. Those are kind of our numbers. That's more quarterback based for an 80 and 89. That just means the quarterback's going to roll out and move. But those are kind of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basic plays that we need to get these kids to understand if they want to be able to get on the field. These 6 basic 90 pre-snap routes. So it doesn't matter what it is. If they play X, Y, Z, S, or H, they hear the word fog, they should know. Fade, 5-yard out. Fade, 5-yard out. We got to build that into our muscle memory. Down here in bold, run every route like you're going to get the ball. Just because it's called 90 fog doesn't mean that the quarterback can't throw it to somebody else. We need all of our receivers, and this is the biggest thing for young kids to learn, to run hard all the time. Otherwise, somebody else can do it. The mirror tag at the bottom means both sides of the field or wide receivers run the same routes. So if I was to say doubles right, 90 fog, mirror, because a mirror shows our reflection, that just means on both sides of the field you've got fades and outs. Okay, fade out. One thing we're going to work on, and I'll get to it when we get to our route tree stuff, is kids understanding what different routes are, hitches and slants, because we can tag any kid on the field of a route to do. If it was 90 fog, X slant, then as long as they know what letter they are and what a slant route is, they can do that stuff too. So we'll get into some of that. But this is that Quip game. Use it as a reference as much as you can. Maybe write it on a piece of paper. I do have some visuals coming up, like I said, that you can use, and you can always pause these videos and come back to them. Vertical, our downfield stuff. We're going to use our same even and odd concepts of 60 and 69. This is just a little bit longer of a throw. Hashes. Hashes is a word we use for going deep, vertical, or go routes. And we are going to use the landmarks, or literally the hashes, the numbers, and the hash marks. So if it's 2 by 2, the outside receivers are running down the numbers, and the inside 2 are down the hash marks. That's just the easiest way, and we can always say hashes Z out or hashes S out. The difference on those tags a little bit is the depth, and that's based off of the 60 stuff, but Hashes is the easiest thing to learn. It's just everybody go deep, quarterback pick somebody who they want to throw it to. Cow, staple of our GK offense from youth football all the way to the high school level. Cow is a post curl route by our outside receiver and a wheel route or an out and up by our second receiver. So, and I have that on a picture here in a little while, but a post curl, that outside receiver is going to try to get to 8 to 10 yards, sell hard on the post, and then settle down right there in the hole. Great against teams that run zone. And then our number 2 receivers are going to run a wheel. Again, remember, these all start from the outside in. So this third one, for example, pin, P-I-N. Number 1 has a post route. Number 2 has a 10-yard in route. Pretty simple. If they understand pin and what side of the field they're on when it comes to the number 60 or 69, then they'll have a good, strong indicator of which guy's going to run the post and which guy's going to run the in route. And then the other variable off of that, you can see right here, is pin switch, which switch just means we're going to switch both those guys. So the outside guy would run the 10-yard in route, and the inside receiver would run the post. So they're just switching responsibilities, kind of based off which kid which kid can make the better throw or which kid we want to try to get the ball to. So again, these are things kids need to ask questions on. Obviously, we're going to coach it. It'd be great if they could try to get some kind of a visual and write it down. Pistol, this one on the bottom is double posts. Try to just get something down the field that we can get somebody open on. Again, we're gonna coach as much of this stuff as we can. And then here's our last 3 kind of concepts that we're going to learn. And it says 80 and 89 because that's the way the quarterback's going to roll out. So 80, he would roll out and run to the right, 89 to the left. These are drawn with 3 receivers instead of 2. That first one is Ocean. It's an out corner arrow. So the outside guy's got a 10-yard out. The second receiver's got a corner. And that third receiver's going to have that speed out arrow concept to the sideline. Quarterback picks the easy throw. Arco, just a different variation of those same concepts. We're just switching them around. So we're going to start on the outside. So it would be an arrow route, corner route, and then a 10-yard out. So you can see how the receivers kind of switch responsibilities. And again, it's just kids understanding words, learning a new language, same as if they would if they were in school. They got to learn something new. How well can they retain it? And then face, it's a fade arrow bend concept. Excuse me. Outside receiver's got a fade route. Must take an outside release to try to get guys to go with them. We'll teach that on the field, what that kind of looks like. We have an arrow, and then we have a bend route or a banana, so it's kind of curved, and try to get to 10 yards. So those are our 3. Coaching 7-on-7 last year and helping our youth teams out, these were some of the concepts that we ran the most, just because it created easier throws for a lot of our kids. Our Ocean, Arco, and Face concept, and then Fog, back to our 90s. But these are all things. The good thing about doing it on a video, you can pause it, go back and look through it as much as you want, slow it down, ask additional questions. Things that we want to look for, positions when it comes to quarterbacks. Understanding the routes. Quarterbacks need to know what all the routes are at all times. Know the down and distance situations. If it's 3rd down and 3, do we always want to throw the ball when it's a 2-yard route? Because in 7-on-7, as soon as you get touched, you're done. With 1 hand or 2, it doesn't matter. 3rd bullet, understand mental toughness. Can't react to a negative throw or a play. You have to learn from it. That's just part of football, part of sports, part of moving forward. And we're going to try as many things as we can as coaches to try to teach those situations to hopefully understand better mental toughness. Be coachable, adapt to GK coaching style. Quarterback is the hardest position at times to play because you get coached hard. You not only get that feeling of pressure from your teammates, maybe parents, but coaches. In 7-on-7, there is a coach on the field, so you're out there being able to kind of talk through things with the quarterback. One thing we have to learn is you have to throw the ball using your legs and your eyes. And I know that's kind of cliche. Everybody wants a strong arm, but if you don't use your feet and if you don't learn how to use your eyes and look certain ways, it's going to be a real challenge, and we're going to have to find a certain quarterback who can do those things well. The quarterback that can is going to get a majority of those reps. Always use legs and feet to throw the ball. Don't stand flat-footed. Nobody out here is Patrick Mahomes. If that was the case, we would have a better understanding of our players and our roster. But the one thing is, as the quarterback, you always want to have energy and enthusiasm. Be excited. If a play goes bad, which it's going to happen, there's going to be incompletions, there's going to be interceptions. You have to create positive energy and enthusiasm. No yelling at teammates. No negative body language. It starts with the quarterback. And if you don't have it that day, for whatever reason, it's a long day, we got to find ways to fake it because you are the quarterback trying to engineer the GK offense as best you can. Wide receivers, again, coming back to that very first slide we had, what you do when you don't have the ball shows how much you care about your teammates. Run every route hard. I cannot stress this enough. This will be day 1 stuff all the way to day 67. Attack defense with speed. You have to always make the defense think that you are going full speed deep. They have no idea where you're going. Third bubble. You have to be able to get off of a jam. A jam means where a player is standing right in front of you and they're not going to let you get off the field. Having fancy footwork and knowing a few tricks is great, but fancy feet will slow you down. And you can see that little parentheses. Fancy feet will get you beat. If you take too long to get off the line of scrimmage, for one, you're not going to get open, and for two, you're probably not going to get on the field because the quarterback and the coach have to rely on you to get to the right spot. Wide receivers, in order to get on the field, you have to know your positions and formations. For example, the letters Y, Z, X, S, and H, those are all the letters that we use in our route concepts. So learning some of those, and we'll kind of assign kids after the first day or two of which positions they should probably lean to. But all kids can understand the concepts. And when I say concept, I mean fog, sassy, pin, cow. Understanding what those concepts are. Last bullet, understand down and distance and situations. And we're always going to work on those in practice. You see it in games, you see it in tournaments, and we get to it in 7-on-7. It's 3rd down and 4, and we throw a ball to a 2-yard out route when we should have had the guy coming behind him for 6 or 7 to make sure we try to get the first down. So those are just things that we've really got to work on and teach as coaches and kids to be open to learn. So hopefully that kind of stuff kind of lays out some bullets, foundation for you of what we're looking for when it comes to quarterback and wide receiver play. Again, looking at those letters, our Y and our H are typically our bigger kids, like our tight ends and our running backs. But for this concept, we're gonna tie everybody together in wide receivers. Okay, our 3 formations that we're gonna kind of work on. The word ghost means an empty formation, so this would be a ghost open right set. Our Y receivers on the far outside with our Z and our S inside, X and H on the left. It's ghost open right. Our Y always goes to our strength call in our GK offense with Z and S in the slot. H would be that running back type. Okay, and again, I'm putting this into a video so that way we can use it. Obviously, if it was ghost open left, the 3 receivers would go to the left side, and the running back and the X receiver would go to the right. This is our ghost tray right. So again, it's 5 wide receivers. Now we've just switched spots. So instead of the Y being out here where he was, now he moves into tray, and the S and Z are on the outside. The other 2 guys stay the same. And that can be based off of a play call, down and distance, speed, whatever you want to think of as a coach and with quarterbacks and personnel about how you want to get certain players into certain spots. And then our 3rd formation that we're going to focus on is bunch right. All of these are ghosts, so empty. But bunch right means our Y is going to be what we like to call the point guy with S and Z hipped off. And then again, our X and our H over here on the left. So if it was bunch left, these 3 receivers in this triangle would be on the left. These 2 would go to the right side. We do have motions and things like that, but obviously we'll get to that down the road. These are things the first week of practice we want to make sure we get to, and the kids have an understanding of what positions they might be going to or direction that they're going to. Here's something that's really helpful to kids, a route tree. So the different words and terminology that we use. If they're not aware, this is what an arrow looks like. 2 yards, slants, hitches, the in on that ISO route. A fade obviously is straight. not always in a straight line because there's gonna be bodies in front of us too. So please use this for reference. This is gonna be our quick stuff. Here's our deeper route concept tree. Corner routes, post routes, a post curl. You can see that post curl right here. So this would be like 69 cal. This deep guy would sell the post and then curl up. So please, again, use this just to understand what a route is if they're not sure. What does a post look like? Well, you run a deep post to the goal route, to the goal post. A wheel. And when we're on the field, we'll give landmarks of where we want kids to try to get to, so they're not running out of bounds, not running too far. Okay. And then here's a couple good visuals. So this would be an example of a doubles formation. 2 receivers on the right, 2 on the left, running backs back here, but a doubles right, 90 fog. Hopefully one of our players picked that up. A fade, a 5-yard out. I didn't say anything to the other receivers, so they know they're running ISO, an in with a seam route. So that'd be a doubles right, 90 fog. Here's our sassy concept. You can see it, 3-yard slants. Again, ISO on the other side of the field. And there's just a couple visuals in here. I think it's important, and we're gonna have a whiteboard at practice to be able to show kids kind of what we really want. It's an unrealistic expectation at times to teach kids new things without visuals, so we're gonna make a point to have that. Hack. Here's our hitches. These are all, and again, if we said mirror for whatever reason, everybody would do the same thing. But in this situation, it's 90 hack. It could be doubles right, 99 hack, where essentially they switch responsibilities. Staff, slant with a flat concept. So again, things some kids might know if they really like and understand and have a love for football, they might know a couple of these things already. But again, we are going to teach these things. This is a real important one. Cow, we're going to sell that post. That route's probably not the best. It should be a little higher, and then work back to create a good alley for our quarterback. And then here's that wheel route. And again, once kids understand the routes, we can tag, the word we use for a tag, any receiver. So this could be 60 cow S post. So these guys run cow, and then this S receiver runs a post route. So once they understand those route trees and routes concepts, and then what letter they're going to be. And then we have 2 more right here. So we have pin, starts on the outside, deep post with a 10-yard in route. And then pin switch, kind of what that looks like. Okay, so again, I know this is a lot of information. I think it's important for kids to kind of get a heads-up idea of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to teach. We can always put more in, take some out, most likely, kind of find some things. This is just a good foundation for us to get started with when it comes to offense. We'll eventually have another install when it comes to defense, but mainly for that first practice on Monday, we're going to work on those ghost formations, getting into our route concepts, teaching terminology, how to line up, how to hustle out of the huddle, and finding a couple kids who can throw the ball. So look forward to working with everybody. Again, Coach Brophy, GK High School. Looking really forward to just kind of getting out there, teaching and learning as much as we can, and going from there. Go Eagles.